All right, so thanks everyone for being here. It's my first speak in public, I would say. So I'd like to thank first Peter for organizing these beautiful events, and also Jana that introduced me to Peter. Like I met Jana at market a few months ago, and she said, you need to go in this space, you need to go in this environment, and I can feel the energy here, I can feel the consciousness open. So yeah. I also wanted to take this beautiful occasion to thank someone that is very important for me. His name is Brad Bilby. I will not be here tonight without him, so he's over there. Can you stand up? So this man is unbelievable, and he believed in me, and I thank you for that. And also I wanted to thank my beautiful fiancée, Kimberly, without who I would not be here. And I can tell you that she's supporting me every day, and it's not always easy, because the path of consciousness is quite a hard one, and it's kind of a roller coaster. So I hope you're ready for tonight. So I'm asking you to really open your mind to new concepts. I thanks Peter for showing beautiful video before, because I'm sure it will introduce this concept easily. I discovered a few years ago the works of a few very, very famous people. First one was Marco Rodin, generated the Rodin coil. And the second one was Nassim Haramein, who developed the double tetrahedron concept and the energy of the vacuum. And I was always interested about the fact that both of them were speaking about the same reality, but with completely two different perspectives. One was using a mathematic structure, and the other one was using a geometric structure, but both of them didn't end up with the same paradigm. So I was a bit surprised, so I just decided to work on it, and I discovered that they were both actually speaking about the same reality with just different words. So yeah, so first of all, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. So this is Nikola Tesla. All right, so just to speak a little bit about me, the official curriculum vitae is degree in psychology, degree in musicology, master in law, master in international relationship, and expert in renewable energy and interior designing. The official, non-official. Sorry? Yeah, is that all? Yeah. The non-official CV is free energy researcher. So you can find a few videos that I did on Facebook. UN Susindo diplomat, for the people who heard about Susindo. I'm also an artist. I'm also a director of the Math and Physics of the New Earth Nation, for the people who heard about Sasha Stone and the New Earth Nation. NGO private foundation advisor and spiritual mathematics teacher. And a very happy daddy. That's perfect geometry. She has amazing geometry. All right, so balance of duality. I'm going to start with something very known, which is left and right brain. So one is analytical, the other one is analytical, reason, numbers, strategy, understanding. The other one is connection, spirituality, open-minded, and sometimes a bit chaotic. So the first one, I will define it as the ego, and the second one, I will define it as the consciousness connectors. So today there's a kind of struggle between both of them, because we live in a world where everything has to be segmented, everything has to be controlled, and the control induces fear of losing the control. And the more fear you have, the more you need to control your environment. So it's a kind of loop where we don't really see the end, like always fear, control, control, fear, fear, control. And why is it so hard to let it go? That was the question that I had. And basically I came with these beautiful patterns of symmetry, like perfect symmetry between things. And we can see it everywhere in creation, that there's this kind of duality between this positive and negative and this perfect symmetry. Because the face, even the face looks symmetrical, but it's not. Like, I don't know if you can see it, but this picture is actually very interesting. Here you have the original, here and there. Here you have the left face that they basically reproduce, like they just duplicate the left face, and this is the right face duplicated. So you can see that this guy and this guy look like brothers, but it seems like it's not the same person, same between here and here. So when we see symmetry, there's actually two personality, the left one and the right one. Okay, so it's kind of illusion of perfection. Okay, so again, we have two types of energy. The first one, I will call it implosion, if you can see it here. So this one is the feminine energy, and this one will be the masculine energy. Okay, so that's the definition that you can have. Feminine is more color blue, okay? Gravitational, attractive, positive, generative. The other one is more masculine, radiation, red, repulsive, explosive, degenerative, radioactive compared to generative. So there's the kind of duality between the force that comes from inside to outside, which is the masculine energy, and the force that comes from outside to inside, which is, I believe, the feminine energy. So when I speak about masculine and feminine, of course, you know that in human beings we have both of them, so it's always interesting to refer to our own experience in terms of my ability to go out or my ability to come in. Okay, so it's not just men and women. The morpho-symbolic field. So everything in reality is based on patterns. Here we can see neurons or energy over there. So you can see this is the red, the brain, like brain cells, and here we have the universe. Here we can see the birth of a cell, and this is the death of a star, and this is an eye and a nebula. So what is interesting is that we can see that as above, so below is not just a sentence, it's actually applying reality. And we're going to explore this more in details, looking at, for example, this is, I know a lot of people think it's a tree, but no, it's a kidney actually. This is a brain. Okay, so you can see again as above, so below. So this is a tree, yes, it's a real tree, and this is lungs. Okay, so you can see that the patterns that we can see in this tree is the same as the one that we can see in these lungs. So the vortex, what about the vortex? So Peter showed us a beautiful interpretation of the vortex and the motion. Nassim Haramein speaks in terms of spin. He said that everything is spinning, which actually what Einstein missed 50 years ago, and just forget the coil is force that induces motion in everything, so that's why he couldn't finish his equation. So the spin can be found in the microcosm environment or the microcosm. So we can see the twister, we can see galaxies, we can see tornado, like cyclone, and we see one very recently in North Australia. And we can see that the force, I don't know if you know that, but a cyclone is the equivalent of, I think it's about something like 500 nuclear bomb. And there's no explosion, it's just about the forces that are induced by the motion and the acceleration of this motion. So that's a very interesting information, that energy is already there. So where else do we see it? Patterns in creation. We can see water. Water have very interesting structure. You can see that there's this hexagonal shape that is fractally replicated. So I don't know if everyone knows what is a fractal, but a fractal is a pattern that is self-replicating. So we can see that here, for example, we see a shape, so a finite shape, and we can see that inside there's a replication of the shape, so in a smaller scale. And it's something that can be infinitely divided. So that's something very interesting, because we actually consider ourselves as a finite body. But we're actually composed of literally infinity of cells. It sounds a bit crazy, but the more you come into matter, and the more you find out that there's, again, a patterns of self-replication. So we, as a body, are the perfect example of a finite organism with an infinite fractal replication inside. So we can hold the infinite into the finite, but not the way around. I can't expand myself, but I can divide myself looking in smaller and smaller and smaller scales. That's very interesting. We can see the vortex again in waves. We can see the vortex in the universe. So we can see here that we have a pattern. This is a circle. This is the Vesica Pisces. This is the tetrahedron. This is the seed of life and the flower of life for the people who knows it. We can see that there's a pattern symmetrical in the universe, or as the infinitely small. So one cell become 2, 2 become 4, 4 become 8, 8 becomes 16, and so on. And this is what creates a body. So initially I was this, and today I'm that. It's a big, big change. It took maths. We can also see that there's fractal symmetry. So we have 12 vertebra here and 12 vertebra there. So there's again a replication, perfect symmetry between as above, so below. We can also see that in the infinitely big, we can find the infinitely smaller, and vice versa. So this is constellation and this is eyes. Okay, other patterns, the Fibonacci sequence. So the Fibonacci sequence is all around the body extremities. We can find on the fingerprints, for example, or on the shape of the ear. We can also find it on the shape of the hand, like a kind of vortex patterns that is all around the body. And again, another expression of these patterns. This is a fetus, this is the Fibonacci sequence, and this is galaxies. So we can see that this motion, this spin, happen in every level of the creation. Now we're going to talk a little bit more about the number, and especially the symbolism of numbers. So I know a lot of us are just using numbers, just as a value, without even understanding where they're coming from, what are they really representing. And basically what I came about is to understand that there's shape in numbers, and I'd like to share it with you. So as you can see here, we all use the same number in the Western world. Like I know in the Eastern world, in Chinese, the numbers have a completely different shape, but we're going to take care about them tonight. So also I'd just like to precise that tonight I'm just giving a small introduction, because I just have 40 minutes, and last week I did, for example, a first presentation took between 3 and 4 hours. So you have to understand that I try to condense the information to actually transfer it to you, but in a way that you can understand it and follow me, but there's much more behind. All right, so that's the shape of the numbers. I'm going to start with the horizontal plan, so that's the horizon. So this could be associated to the difference between the sky and the earth. So it's all about this horizontal line. In this reality, we have two forces that govern this creation. We have the masculine energy, which is symbolized by a straight line, and the feminine energy, which is symbolized by a curve. Okay, so a man is, and a woman is more like this. So if you wanted to join this horizontal dimension to the higher world using the masculine energy, what you would do? You would put a straight line going up. If you wanted then to join this horizontal world to the lower world, you would use a straight line going down. And if you put another straight line in the middle, I end up with what I call the twin brothers, the number 4 and the number 7. As if those numbers were just indicating a motion in energy. Remember, the masculine energy is coming from inside to outside, the feminine energy is coming from outside to inside. Explosion, implosion, a heart, like a heart. A heart needs both of them. You need a balance between what is going out and what is coming in. If you just explode, you explode. If you just implode, you just implode, you just contract. So we need a balance between those two energies to allow life and energy to move forward. Okay, so, but if you're using the masculine energy, you must be also able to use the feminine energy. So same, if you're going from this horizontal line and you're going to the higher world, you create the number 2. So a curve pointing up, or a curve pointing down. So you have the number 2 here, twin sister, and the number 5. All right? Then you have the goddess mother, which is the double curve, number 8. Pay attention to the color are very important. And the godfather is the number 1. Why that? Because they don't have any horizontal line. They have different properties. I can speak about it later, but that's a big topic. So both of them are perfectly symmetrical. Both of them are creating a passage between above and below. This one using one straight line, this one using double curve. Okay. Now we're going to talk about the vacuum. So who knows what is the proportion of the vacuum in creation? The vacuum is the space that is devoid of matter, okay, free of space. So there's nothing in it, nothing tangible that we can see in this dimension. Sorry?
Space is awareness.
Space is awareness, correct. So I don't know if you know that, but this is the atom model. Okay, so we can see inside that there's a nucleus and around there's an electron. But what most of the people don't really understand is the scale, because it's all about the scale. Okay, this is just a symbolic representation of an atom, but the proportions are not really exactly like this. So we're going to increase the nucleus, which is in the center, up to the size of a basketball. Okay? So this is what we're going to do, and we're going to choose Sydney as the center of it. So if the nucleus was, so the protons was the size of a basketball, do you know that the electrons would be at 30 kilometers from here? And the distance between this point and this point, 30 kilometers, is actually space. It's actually vacuum. And this happened for every cell of our body, every cell that composes this room, every atoms of the air, everything is actually made of 99% of vacuum for 1% of matter. Okay, this would be the electron, and the electron would be the size of a ping pong ball, okay, to give you an approximation. So if we take the basketball and we divide it by the vacuum, we have a ratio of 30 centimeters diameter for the basketball, something like this, for 30 kilometers of vacuum. Okay, I hope you follow all. So this means that this reality, the reality that we are all around, that we think, that we fight for, is actually composed of 1 unit of quantifiable matter for 10,000 units of nothing. Okay, so the proportion is 99.99999% of emptiness for 0.00001% of matter. And when you come into this matter, guess what? You have the same proportion. 99% of emptiness for 1%, 0.0111% of matter. As if there was a fractal pattern that is self-replicating, and we are looking for the finite, the smallest particle of God, by exploding matter. I don't know about you, but I think we're going to look for it for a long time. Because in Greece, Plato used to say that the reality was made of atom, like small molecules, and then we end up with atoms, and then we end up with quarks, and then now we end up with the constant Planck. So the more we come into matter, the more it seems that it's more and more infinite as the universe. Okay, as if what is inside could be actually the exact mirror of what is above. Alright, so how can we combine 1 and 0? That's the question that I was wondering. If 1 is one quantifiable unit of matter and the 0 represents the emptiness, the vacuum, how do we combine both of them? And how can we say that when you combine both of them, it's equal to more than 9? Remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 is actually composed of 1 and 0. It's like mixing two things who are in two different dimensions. So it's like mixing the glass and the water in one element. It's literally impossible. They are in two different dimensions. The 0, the vacuum, is everywhere. Inside, outside, around, above, behind, it's everywhere. How can we take a human body, for example, and said that we're going to combine the quantifiable human body with the infinite fraction that you have inside? It's impossible. And unfortunately, that's what we're doing when we use the number 10. Number 10 is combining two elements who exist in two different dimensions. So what is the spiritual geometry? Spiritual geometry came by the simple observation of reality. No problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it. So now I'm going to ask you a simple question. How many people here have 10 fingers? You don't? Okay. Cool. Do your finger look like this? Okay, thumb, index, middle, the ring, the pinky. Or do your finger look like that? So I'm just asking a simple question. Here we have 10 fingers. When I mean 10 fingers, I mean 10 identical fingers. Okay? It's the same one, same one, same one, same one. It's all the same. And we all feel a little bit uncomfortable when we see that because it doesn't make sense. I hope so. This doesn't make sense. This is 10 fingers. 10 identical fingers. Alright? This is not 10 fingers. This is a thumb and the symmetrical of a thumb. This is an index and the symmetrical of an index. So everything seems to work following a binary code, not a decimal system. Alright? So for the purpose of the experience tonight, as I can't give you too much information, I'm going to ask you just to follow me in this path. And I'm going to ask you to just play the game and we'll explain you later. So it's all about the creation. The creation couldn't start with a full geometry. It has to start with a dot, and the dot is the beginning. Right? But the dot was a bit bored. You know, the dot is balanced, is stable, but it needs some friends, it needs some action. So we actually find another body, which is the end. So we have the beginning and the end, and in the middle we have the path. But when you actually join those two, like, okay, it's cool, but what's going on after? We need an alternative, we need a choice. With the possibility to explore something else, because you can't just come and back. And this creates what we see as the Trinity. Okay, and the Trinity gives what? Another beginning, because it gives another dot. This dot gives another end, another end gives another choice, and then we can build a fractal reality based on that. Okay, so now we're going to have a look to the radiant force. So the radiant force is the masculine energy, the red one. It's actually composed of three masculine energy. I don't know if you remember them. We have the twin brother, 4 and 7, and we have the Godfather, which is the 1. Why that? Because they just have straight line. There's no curve. Okay, so we're going to put the Godfather here, and then we're going to put the two brothers here and there. Okay, 1, 4, and 7. So when you combine 1, 4, and 7, you end up with 1 plus 4 equal 5, 5 plus 7 equal 12, but as I told you, 12 doesn't exist, because the decimal system doesn't exist, because the 10 is an illusion. So what we're going to do, we're just going to say that 12 is actually equal to 1 and 2. So 1 and 2 equal 3. Okay. How can we check that? 1 plus 3 equal 4. 4 plus 3 equal 7. 7 plus 3 equal 10, which is 1 plus 0, so it's 1. Right? 10 plus 3 equal 13. 3 plus 1 equal 4. 13 and 3 equal 16. 6 plus 1 equals 7. And 16 and 3 equal 19. 9 plus 1, 10, which is 1. Okay, interesting coincidence. As if the number 3 was creating a kind of clockwise motion. Okay? Number 3 generated clockwise motion. Remember what Thiel said a little bit earlier, Thiel Swan? She said that the Merkaba was actually composed of two triangles spinning in opposite direction. So of course, in this gravitational force, we have the opposite energy, which is the feminine trinity. By the way, in Catholic religion, we think that there's the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. I still don't understand how the Holy Spirit are separated. I'm guessing and thinking about it, but I still don't understand how the Holy and the Spirit are separated. We talk about the same entity. So how can you separate the Holy and the Spirit? So we have the God, the Father, the Son. We must have the Holy Spirit in one entity. So we have a triangle. We don't have a cross. The cross is dividing, separating. The triangle is unifying. So the gravitational force, we have the number 8, feminine energy. Then we have the number 5, and then we have the number 2. Okay, how can we combine them? So 2 plus 5 equals 7. 7 plus 8 equals 15. 5 plus 1, 6. Okay, 2 plus 6 equals 8. 8 plus 6 equals 14. 4 plus 1 equals 5. 14 and 6 equal 20. 2 plus 0 equals 2. So in that case, it's the number 6 that creates the rotation, going clockwise. And when you combine the masculine energy and the feminine energy, so we have the 1, 4, 7. Then we have the 2, 5, 8. And we create a very interesting patterns that we can imagine in 3 dimensions as the Merkaba. Okay? Now I just have a question. So we saw that the number 3 and the number 6 are connected to the masculine and feminine energy. Where's the number 9? Can you all see it?
3 plus 6.
3 plus 6, yeah. In these patterns, can you see the number 9? So we have the 1, 4, 7, 2, 5, 8. So we have the Godfather number with the Godmother number, 1 plus 8 equal 9. We have the feminine energy pointing up and the masculine energy pointing down, 2 plus 7 equal 9. Here you have the feminine energy pointing down, 5, and the masculine energy pointing up, 4 plus 5 equal 9. So there's perfection. And of course, if you design circles around those numbers, you actually end up with a very famous symbol called the Seal of Life. This symbol has been recorded in all ancient buildings since a long time ago. If we add more circle around, we create bigger patterns. But we're going to stick to this sequence, which is, I'm sure you're very familiar with it. It's called the cellular division. One cell split into 2. Okay, 2 split into 4, 4 split into 8, 1 cell, 2 cells, 4 cells, 8 cells, and so on. So here we have the number 1 split into 2. 2 times 2 equals 4. 4 times 2 equals 8. 8 times 2 equals 16, which is 6 plus 1, 7. 16 and 16, 32. 3 plus 2, 5. And 32 and 32, 64. 6 plus 4, 10, which is 1. So we have a pattern that is replicated in the more intimate part of our body, which is the cell. How we're born. We're actually born from 1 that came to 4, 6, 8, 7, 5, and come back to 1. This famous number 64 is a very important number. That's the amount of gene that we have in our DNA. We have 64 genes in our DNA. That's the amount of circle that we have in a flower of life. That's the amount of straight line that we have in the yin qing. It's a very, very particular number. And it's, as a coincidence, the end of the division of the cycle. So the first cycle did 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. And after that, 64, what do we have? We have 64 and 64, 128. So 128 is 8 and 2, 10 and 1, 11, 1 and 1, 2. 256, 5 and 6, 11 and 2, 13, 3 plus 1, 4. 5 and 12, 5 and 1, 6 and 2, 8. 1024, 4 and 2, 6 and 1, 7. 2048, 5, 4006, 1, and so on. So we have a pattern that is self-replicating and self-replicating and self-replicating, and is the base of our human body. Remember, if we believe in the Bible, the world has been created in 6 days, and God had rest on the seventh day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we are going into the next level, the next harmonic, because it's all about a pattern that is self-replicating and self-replicating. It's all about resonance, vibration, frequency, coming out, going in, coming out, going in, imploding, exploding. So this is the third dimension. The third dimension is based on Trinity, double Trinity. Trinity made of masculine energy, explosive, and feminine energy, imploding. But there's a fourth dimension. The fourth dimension is the word of the duality, of the binary. How do we see that? 1 plus 2 equal 2 plus 4 equal 4 plus 8 equal 12, which is 2 plus 1, 3. 8 plus 7, 15, which is 1 plus 5, 6. 7 and 5, 12, 2 plus 1, 3. And 5 and 1, 6. So I have 3, 6, 3, 6, 3, 6. And again, 3 and 6, 9, 3 and 6, 9, 3 and 6, 9. 3 plus 3 plus 3 equal 9. 6 plus 6 plus 6 equal 18. 1 plus 8, 9. So again, we have perfection. And again, when we combine the fourth dimension together, we arrive to the fifth dimension, which is a combination of 3 and 6, 9, 3 and 6, 9, 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9. So in the third dimension, we are in a trinity. In the fourth dimension, we are in a duality, binary. Think about a magnet. When you think about a magnet has north and south, integrated into the same elements. Okay, so it's holding the duality into itself. Where in this dimension we need separation, because God, the duality is the expression of God through masculine and feminine energy. So if we write the 3 and 6, now we have emotion. And again, we're going to combine the third dimension with the fourth dimension. 1 plus 3 equal 4, 3 plus 2 equal 5. That's what you're going to see now, 4, 5, 2 and 6, 8, 6 and 4, 10. 1 and 3, 7, 8 and 3, no, 3 and 4, 7, sorry. 3 and 8, 11, which is 2. And now if we're combining the 1, 4, 7, the masculine energy, and the 2, 5, 8, so we end up with 1, 4, 7, 2, 5, 8, 2, 5, 8, 1, 4, 7. And here we end up with the vortex mathematics. As if everything was the combination of a masculine energy and a feminine energy connected through bridges, energetic bridges. So we can actually use numbers to travel in dimension. We can actually use numbers to see what the eyes and the sense can't see. We can use our mind to travel in the subtle reality. Just by changing one paradigm that we've been taught since we were kids, which is that we have 10 fingers. It's an illusion. I have 5 at the resonance of 5, I don't have 10. Alright, so why do we have 360 degrees in a circle? Why do we have 3,600 seconds in an hour? Why are we using system hexadecimal to make programmation? What is the relationship between pi and the golden number? Why the ancient used to tune music instrument on 432 or 528 as the DNA activation? Why the Pyramid of Giza was built using the Egyptian cubit, and where this Egyptian cubit is coming from? The decimal system is the base of our civilization. Just think for a second, what if it was wrong? What if he was creating a decimation, a form of separation between people, an illusion of separation, instead of integrating the paradigm of harmonics and vibration? We can find it in every fraction of our day-to-day life. What if it was creating an illusion of separation between the white and the black, between the poor and the rich, between the male and the female? Like, what's the difference between someone that has $1 and someone that has 1 and 0,0,0,0,0 behind? It's all emptiness. Why do we allow this to happen? Or how can we allow this to happen, to create this separation, this differentiation? I don't want my kid to look at me like this one day. I don't know about you. I'd rather see this, and this, and this, and this. And this is our responsibility to fight against our own perception of reality and just reprogram ourselves following the real patterns of creation, which is vibration. Like, we can put it in all the directions that we want, everything vibrates. A vibration is nothing more than this shape, right? In 3 dimensions, this shape, it will be this. So again, it's a vortex. And what a vortex is made of? Explosion, contraction, explosion, contraction, explosion, contraction, masculine, feminine. It's all about this energy that goes out and comes in, goes out and comes in. So why we don't see that? Why do we don't teach that in our school? Which type of society could we have if we were teaching to our children harmonic mathematics? That we are not separated, but rather interconnected through an immense field of energy that is unifying the whole universe. That we are not alone, we are not isolated, but rather the fruit of infinite vibration and that animate everything. What if there was a way through the numbers to access infinite wisdom, peace, and consciousness? To discover it, I invite you to join me in a journey between emotion and rationality, into the realm of logic and poetry, where the stillness meets the chaos in a dance for evolution. The first court of a series of 3, Saturday the 14th of March, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Wellbeing Studio in Coleroy. If you need more information, my friend Jake here is happy to help you. What you will learn during these courses will deeply transform you by eliminating the permanent war that we are currently have without even knowing it between consciousness and ego. Because the ego understand means standing under. The consciousness stand over, the consciousness know. So the consciousness is constantly telling us like the truth, but the ego has been programmed to believe in separation. Like, how can we sort out? How can we get out of this paradigm? Okay, so that's why I decided to create those courses, to help the people to integrate, because it's very, very hard. And the deeper the paradigm is, the harder it is. So I decided to make those courses to help people to, during exercise, through exercise, to really feel and allow the consciousness to reconnect to the ego and basically feel what I'm feeling every day, this state of stillness and peace. So for more information, spiritualmathematics.com, Facebook, Spiritual Mathematics, Sacred Vortex Geometry. And if you have any question, I'm ready for that.